Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the Mattson drawing right here. As you see right here, is I went ahead and drew right here is a picture of me, and then along with these A's, you got the a planet, and then of course you say the planet similar to Earth is, which I would ahead and call this like for Mattson is talking about is like if maybe if I were to come up with maybe a name for a planet, it was like for Planet Mattson it is, but you have right here is you got a drawing right here of me that with me that I went ahead and drew this from a photo that I had in my collection of pictures right there is basically is what I went ahead and drawn is it showing is that in the picture that I was at a birthday party, and where I was it's like sitting in front of a bunch of presents. It is so you have it to where that a present would be at about right here. But basically is talk about for that Mattson is like for Planet Mattson is showing that is like for it's like for so far as is for our education, in which most students that they were to go to school and get an education, it is a lot of times with the teachers, the way they teach the students is the fact about is that they go to school. And I remember that a lot of times whenever I was young, that I said maybe a lot of things such as homework's a waste of time, and then school's a waste of time, I don't want to go, such and such. But on your hand too, that a way that kind of you say is get our children, you say that understand too, of course, is that that a lot of times with school that which my parents always told me that you'll realize how important school is as you get older. And a lot of times you begin to wonder about that about how is it that it's so important. But then on your hand too, I also think about is that if you wanted to look at it, it's like other than it's like with the reading book, it's like if you want to add, see here, go ahead and add some stars. But anyway, add some stars right here. It's like if it was it's like details for space, but like green stars, or it could be say see here, got the blue and then the green right here markers. But I would probably say that go ahead and add see here a little bit of orange. Just like put a little bit of orange detail right there, like for the star. But anyway, I talk about Mattson is you got right here is me right here that I went and drew myself is like with it was to say the planet is like similar to Earth. It's like Planet Mattson it is. But then also I want to include it right here, of course, is writing is like for learn to be creative, and then what subjects what subject I learned required the skills from the teacher, along with the paragraph and a lot of sentences. And a lot of times whenever they would give you like a homework or something, a lot of times that they would want you to write maybe a 4 or 5 paragraph, or maybe a 15 sentence long paper about what you studied, about the subject matter. It could be science, or it could be geography, or whatever subjects it is. But if I was thinking if I could maybe think of my own subject, of course that we could probably say that with most subjects, if it's basic math, or if it's anything related to it's like none related to darts or anything. It's like you're throwing crayons. But if it's anything to do with language arts, or if it's science, or science, social studies, or English literature, or any type of subjects like that, a lot of people will probably say that if you were to go to school and learn those certain subjects, it's like with me that I remember that math was of course was one of my worst. It's like people probably maybe heard that a number of times. It's like it's more likely almost most common to most people that with math that they got their own saying is by saying that it's too hard, complicated, chemistry, or geometry, or anything like that. But on the other hand too, that it's like that with most people probably say that it's too hard. Maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe you don't like it. You're not good at it, whatever it is. But I don't know. with most teachers would probably say that it's not really the matter of how good you are. As a matter of fact, that is at least that you tried, that you tried to come up with the answer. And I would probably say that I could not even say if the matter about that if I can remember if I ever failed a test before. I think a couple times I failed a spelling test. It is, and any type of test, and more likely they could probably say that of course it's like even the president would say that that just because you failed the test doesn't mean that you're a failure or whatever. That just means that so you just gotta study hard, and which most people would say with nowadays with technology, since you have like computers and stuff, that that you'd probably say that well I got a computer or I got a smartphone. I'll go ahead and jot down a few notes and then write down. You should say go ahead and write down. Yeah, I guess they weren't really kind of coloring as an example. I guess if you wanted to do any type of homework, then more likely it would be related to like a notebook. But basically talking about with Mattson right here is this kind of just give you an idea for it's like for according to my opinion that for my saying for the things about it's like for what I went to school to learn. It's like what I what I learned from whenever I was in school. Of course was a course that they learned the ABCs, and then of course it's like I don't think I went to school learn how to curse or anything like that. But then on the other hand too that I guess you could say I picked up the talent for creative art whenever I went to school back those couple of years ago. That I just far as I can remember, I just picked up a crayon and then did like different art architecture, you say designs. I guess you could say that I just you would look at a photo and then I would just experiment with the different colors and stuff about how they did it. And I guess that was just it's kind of a hobby that you kind of picked up. It's like something that you give your hands feel free to give your hands that capability of doing. And before I say that there's a lot of millions of planets out there, it's like but other than that you have right here is like for Planet Mattson right here is to kind of give it that little that Earth type color right there. But according to my opinion, about with most subjects that most states would require you to take, of course, as state requirements, that more likely are going to be like it's a geology or psychology, anything related to maybe science or maybe mathematic matters or anything like that, maybe language arts or something like that. But then on the other hand too, that you could probably think about is that if you take most subjects, that with most people would probably say that hey, I never was good at this subject, so you're not looking at the right person. You're not looking at the right person, really to expect is to say is the perfect score for it. It's like what do you expect from me, huh? You don't expecting a perfect score or whatever, but on the other hand too, that a lot of teachers more likely would probably say that a perfect score is not really what they're looking for. What they're looking for, of course, is your time, of course, of trying your best, from whenever you do an assignment, you say. I got right here, it's like for Planet Mattson, and then you have right here, it's like for people probably say that with green. That a lot of times it's like green is cut the grass or whatever you call it, but of course that you add some detail right here. It's like for the Planet Mattson right here. If like there's any oceans or any type of landscapes, you got the ocean. It's like it's like for Planet Mattson, it's like similar to Earth. It is that you add some different colors right here. A lot of people probably say that really be between Planet Earth and Pluto, and Planet Mattson, whatever it is, that all pretty much look the same. It's like that it's like Neptune, whatever it is. That name all the planets in our galaxy, or maybe a few stars. You probably say that you picked a star that was facing south to the west or whatever. That that was and that was about maybe 360 light years from the moon or something like that. That you gave it a name. It's like you give it a certain name, and then that's like, you know, the star that maybe I would pick, which it's like I don't really even know if I ever picked a star really to begin with. It's like I just pretty much said, it's like just draw a star, and then from there, and then it was like, but other than that is like it, but which my parents told me once before that it's like you know, why school is so important is the fact about it's like whatever you want to learn, it's like basically you'll know what your major is whenever you get older. But I would probably say that one of my majors, of course, was it's like to show the best of talent, show the best of my talent. And then of course it's like a lot of teachers would probably say that with most kids' talents, that more likely going to school more likely is not based on the fact about judging one another, you know, to what they can do and such. If it's like if you have a disability, or maybe if you're handicapped, whatever it is, or if you have some type of diagnosis, whatever it is. With most doctors would probably say that hey, you know, you do what you feel free, you know, that you don't have to do it. But as long as you're obeyed, it's like the guidelines it is. But other than that, it's like so far as the subject is like for Planet Mattson is talking about is that whatever you feel, whatever you put your mind up to, more likely it's like it could be arranged. But other than that, is that you got right here for Planet Mattson, and along right here it's like the present. And then, you know, the present could be it's like anything related to, say, that new type of a toy. If it's an iPod, an e-reader, you know, electronic library, maybe an iPod, or maybe the fact is that, you know, something that, you know, that matches up the color of the hair, or maybe something you're related to the birthday or whatever it is. But then on your hand too, it's like so far as that subject, it's like, and then along with the date, and then it's like this, you know, for the holidays. But other than that, it's like for so far as subject, and then, you know, for the Planet Mattson coloring.